Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse. Alright everybody, today we're going to be doing our first armor video, and today is the starter level for pants. Now, if you haven't been watching all of these tier list videos all the way through, that's okay, but this one, you're definitely going to want to watch it all the way through. I've got a bit of a fun surprise somewhere in the middle of the video, and I think you're all gonna want to see it. Number 1. All of the items are at their starting level. There are no item level upgrades. None of the items are reinforced. I have noticed that at lower levels, a lot of people tend not to reinforce their items, so I'm going to assume that you don't have the resources, or you just keep forgetting to reinforce. Number 3. I take into account at what point in the game the item is normally going to be found. So for example, the copper sword is more useful in the early game than in the late game, so I'm rating things with this kind of consideration in mind. Number 4. Different playstyles can alter the ranking of various weapons for different people. Now, I'm going to try to stay neutral and take all these different playstyles into account, but I must admit, I have a bit of a bias toward fast attack speed weapons that hit more often than single shot attacks that do more damage in a single blow. I'm going to do my best not to let that get the better of me though. With that out of the way, let's take a quick look at the rating system in general and what each tier means. Starting with the S tier. This is the top tier. These are going to be our super versatile items, best of the best, things that are used in multiple builds. A tier, those are going to be excellent items. Top tier for at least one build, and often versatile, but not necessarily the best of the best. B tier are strong items that you really aren't going to complain about, but they have limited use or are eventually outclassed by other items. C tier, these items are fine. You can't go wrong with them, but you will eventually replace them, or you are going to replace them pretty quickly. D tier, maybe these items have a little bit of a niche use, but otherwise they're really not that useful or worthwhile. And F tier, the item is trash, it's not any good, don't bother using it. First up, we have got the bikini bottoms, and I'm actually going to just throw these into D tier for right now. They are pretty much just niche for movement speed. They provide a decent movement speed buff, but that's pretty much all they really offer. The board shorts are also going into D tier for the exact same reason. They are exactly the same as the bikini bottom. They pretty much have the exact same stats as well, and they are nice for movement speed, but only for movement speed. The bronze pants are next, and these I'm actually going to throw into B tier, as these are pretty good range damage pants. You can't go wrong with these in the early game for range damage. The caveling pants, I'm throwing these into A tier, as these are solid dodge pants, but ideally they're really best for mining or for melee. And because they're so versatile, that's why I'm throwing them into A tier. The copper pants are next, and these are C tier items. These are the first decent pants that you're going to make, but you are definitely going to replace them pretty quickly. The Cosmos legwear, I'm throwing this also into A tier. It has got solid damage, it has got decent mining, and it's good for melee, so good for all of those kinds of builds. Galaxite pants, these are B tier items, as they have a pretty good crit damage, and it is really useful, but you will eventually replace them. They will last you a little while though. Alright, up into the B tier are the Gemstone Harem pants, and these actually are pretty good if you are an attack speed build. Whether you're going for a ranged attack speed or a melee attack speed, doesn't matter, these pants have got you covered on both. I'm finally coming around to armor that has both a melee and ranged attack speed on them at the same time. I used to be very critical of them in my previous videos, a little less critical of them now. These are decent pants. Gingerbread pants, I'm throwing into D tier, as really these are just kind of gimmicky pants and are only good for their gimmick. The God Sent King pants. All right, these are going into A tier. as these are really, really strong and are useful in a variety of other sets. However, there are some other items that are slightly better, and that's pretty much what keeps it out of S tier. The hazmat suit, these are going into B tier, as they're actually pretty good melee damage pants. So if you need to use them for that, go for it. They are craftable. The hive bone pants, I'm going to put these into D tier. If you really want an early game Thorns build, these can be useful. However, I don't really find usefulness out of early game Thorns. That's more of a late game kind of build to me. So I recommend using the iron pants instead. Speaking of, iron pants are our first S tier item, as these are the best pre-wall pants in my opinion. You can craft them nice and early. They have an excellent damage bonus, a good hit point bonus, a good armor bonus. These are all the things that you need in the early game. So they work really, really well. Keeping up that S tier trend, we've got Ivy's pants, also S tier items, as these are just really, really strong, practically unbeatable when it comes to hit point gain and crit damage. Just absolutely amazing. The set bonus is really good too, and you're definitely going to want to take advantage of that. The Magma Shin armor, I am throwing this into C tier. This is best in slot for burn, but that's pretty much really it. The hit points in the armor aren't that bad either, but if you're not using a burn build, you're going to skip over this. The mercenary pants are going right into A tier, as these are an excellent mid-game damage set and a wonderful upgrade from like the iron armor, for example. Then we have got the miner's worker pants, and these are also going into A tier, as these are pretty much the best in slot for mining. They're also extremely useful for melee builds too. In fact, I might even teeter this into the S tier, but it's just not that useful for a range build. However, everyone is going to use a mining build, and that is the mining pants that you're going to want to grab. The mold web pants are actually also going to go into A tier, as these are really, really good melee damage pants. And we've got the ninja leggings, and these are going straight into S tier, as these are the best dodge pants, but they are also the best crit pants, and that makes them versatile and useful in pretty much every build. These are among the best in the game. And now I've got a little surprise for everybody, because I'm sure none of you know what these pants are. You're probably looking at going, Dakon, what have you done? Did you mess up the harem pants? But no, I already did the harem pants. So what are these? These are the apprentice pants, and they are going into A tier. These things give you extra mana. Yeah. These are mage pants, so you're getting extra mana with these, and you get an additional magical barrier. Now, what is magical barrier? Magical barrier is essentially like extra hit points, but it's magic themed. So at the point that you're getting this item in the game, you're getting gear that's giving you maybe 5, maybe 10 extra hit points. This is giving you plus 24 extra hit points between the health bonus and the barrier bonus. These pants are amazing. The set bonus is also excellent and reminds me heavily of the scarab armor set bonus when it comes to thorns, but in this case for barrier. I think that this is a must-have set for any wizard early on in the game, possibly even for any summoner. Oh, and be sure to stick around till the end, because there is one more surprise. And next we have got the Octarine pants, which I'm putting into C tier, as these are not bad. They are an attack speed set of pants, and if you're going for attack speed, these are definitely going to be pretty good for you. But if you're not, yeah, they're still okay, especially if you're using some slower weapons, but otherwise you're going to pass over them. Omeros leg armor. This one is also going into C tier, as the damage boost is nice, but the attack speed boost really isn't all that helpful, unfortunately. The paladin pants, I'm putting these into B tier, as they are very helpful for dodge builds, but only if you don't have the ninja armor yet. If you do, skip these. The Ranger pants. These are our next S tier item. Absolutely. They are excellent crit pants. One of the best ranged pants. However, they are pretty good for melee too. So I absolutely would rank these in S tier. And if you get it nice and early, you'll be pretty happy with these. The rubber boots are going into C tier, as these can be helpful with some early game mobs and some of the bosses, but unfortunately they will get outclassed pretty quickly as you run out of situations where their special ability ends up having any real use. The scarab legs, these are going into S tier. They are excellent for crit. They are amazing for thorns. This is a really strong set of pants, and if you're going for a thorns build or you're going for a crit build, you're going to want to take a close look at these. The scarlet pants are, well, for me, they teeter between A and S tier. I'm going to actually go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt and put them into S tier, as they've got really solid stats. They're an excellent mid-game crit set, and really they're best with the set bonus as well, because that is a pretty good set bonus if you're going for critical effects. These scuba fins, these are going into C tier, as they are very helpful for fishing, and you can get them extremely early in the game. So go ahead and fish these up as soon as possible, and they'll be really useful for you. The Solarite Tassets, I'm going to put these into B tier, as they are actually pretty decent melee, and if you're going for a lifesteal build, these are probably best in slot for you. They're pretty good pants, actually. The stone pants, however, are not that great. These are D tier. They're kind of gimmicky just for your damage reduction against bosses, and the hit point boost is nice, but otherwise they're really not that great. The Wild Warden pants, I'm going to put these into C tier, as these are actually really good pants if you haven't switched to the Owl Lux yet, and you probably haven't at this point in the game, or at least at the point that you can most likely get these. So they do have decent value, but once you switch off the Owl Lux, if you ever do switch over to the Owl Lux, then these will lose some value over time. And finally, we are going to end with the wooden pants, which I'm going to throw into C tier as well, as these are the first pants that you're probably going to make, and they work just fine. You can use them to take out the first boss. They are decent pants. Yeah, you're going to replace them pretty quick, but they still work just fine when you get them. And that wraps everything up for today's episode. If you enjoyed yourself, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're interested in watching my videos regularly, and if you feel like adding some extra support to the channel, you can always join our Patreon or become a YouTube member. There are links in the description. Thanks again for watching. You're all wonderful, and until next time, stay crazy.